What's going on, guys? It's your boy Spudzie here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Condi Alac DPS build for the Renegade in PvE. This build was recently buffed, and by recently, I mean literally today. They buffed the hell out of this build, man, because now Orders from Above, our main button that will generate Alacrity, the duration has been increased from 1.5 seconds to a full 2 seconds in PvE. This might not sound like it's a big deal, but trust me it is, because you now only need like 30% or like a little more than that, maybe like 35% boon duration, as opposed to the old 77% to reach 100% alacrity uptime. What this means is that your gear options and gear choices are way more open than they used to be. No longer are you going to be going onto the trading post and looking for boon duration food with concentration stats. No more of that. No more of having to have every consumable, every infusion. Those days are over. Now, on this build, we'll be running some more Condi damage runes, which will allow us to deal more damage and actually run condition-based consumables, which just makes everything a lot easier and more straightforward. If this is something that excites you, consider leaving a like and dropping a sub, as it helps me out a ton. So sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. Starting us off is the gear. I decided to go with a full set of Ritualist gear as well as Ritualist accessories. I found that these stats complemented the build very nicely, as it gives us our Condi damage, our bit of concentration for boon duration, as well as some added on vitality to help with surviving. And as everyone knows, you cannot deal DPS if you're dead, so this vitality actually plays a huge role in these stats, which are why I think that they are probably some of the best stats to run right now if you're trying to go for a Condi Alac DPS build. A big change to this build is the fact that we're actually running superior runes of Torment. This is big because in the past, we weren't actually able to run a Condi damaged rune set. It was always a boon duration rune set, and this is actually a huge change. Now, I will say if you can afford it, you should probably look to get runes of the Nightmare, as those will be better for your other Condis. But honestly, if you're cheap like me, you can just go ahead and buy the runes of Torment, and you shouldn't lose too much damage, seeing as how most of our main damage is from Torment. Our weapons will follow the exact same pattern, with both sets being Ritualist statted. Our shortbow runs a superior sigil of Torment, as well as a superior sigil of Geomancy, while the mace runs a superior sigil of Doom, and the axe a superior sigil of Earth. For our traits, we run the usual stuff that a Condi build would take, so there's not really much to go over there, but a few traits that we should go over that are pretty important. Charged Mist in the invocation trait line will allow us to gain an extra 25 energy whenever we swap legends, as long as we have 10 energy or less at the time that we swap. This means that as you're playing the build, you're going to want to make sure that you can get below 10 energy and then swap before you're right back above it. Because if you don't, this will make the rotation a lot harder, and honestly, I found myself having a bit of trouble with this during strike encounters whenever my energy would be at a higher threshold than where it should, because you know how combat works and that kind of thing. Our other trait falls into the Renegade trait line with the Righteous Rebel trait. If you're not running this, you're basically trolling and you're not even playing the build, because this is what you need to even like make things work, so don't even try to go around this one. All that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the rotation of the build and learn how to actually play it. So on the opener, you're going to want to go ahead and look for a Razor's Claw Rage into a Temporal Rift. Follow up with an Echoing Eruption and an Orders from Above. After this, swap over to the Legendary Demon stance, pop Embrace the Darkness, and go for a Searing Fissure. From here, we are going to weapon swap and go for a Shortbow 2 into a Shortbow 4, and finally Shortbow 3. From here, just go ahead and auto attack until your Shortbow 2 comes off cooldown. We're going to do that a few more times until our Shortbow 4 and 3 are back off cooldown. Go ahead and use those both, and then swap over to Kala Stance. You want to use Orders from Above to regenerate Alacrity as soon as it comes back up. Go ahead and pop a Searing Fissure into Echoing Eruption. You will then use Citadel Bombardment in order to get all the burn stacks into a Temporal Rift, and then auto attack with the mace until your mace 2 off cooldown. And you're going to want to go ahead and do that chain until Orders from Above is back up online, and use that right before you swap stances. This rotation will ensure that we are making the most out of our combo fields and our sigils as we apply every Condi that we have onto the enemy and manage to upkeep Alacrity as best we can while playing into that Charged Mist playstyle. With this build, you'll realistically be looking at around 25k DPS or more during strike encounters with 100% Alacrity uptime. This is definitely a lot better than it used to be, and honestly has more ease of use and accessibility for players that just want to try out Alac Renegade without having to buy like 7 different consumables or infusions. While ridiculous stats and accessories may be a bit hard to come by at the time of making this video, I can assure you that by the time that we get another EOD story update on the 28th, we will probably have an easier way to get these accessories through maybe some type of map currency. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave me a like and subscribe as it helps me out a ton. Let me know down below what you think of the build, what are some things that you would change, and if you are just enjoying the new update in general. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.